Hello everyone, I'm Kevin from Zandri Minis and this is my new tutorial on how to create this scene or base. So let's jump right into it, right? The resin I'm using here is from Green Stuff World and the ratio for that is 3 parts of resin and 1 part of water as shown on the lid. But for my piece I will water it down a little bit more so it could run into the recesses and gaps wherever it needs to be filled up. So let me show you how my resin consistency is before applying the primer. Also, if you are using this kind of foam that I'm using for the base, make sure you protect it from the primer, because if you spray can it, it will eat your foam away. So make sure to apply some of the resin onto it before you apply your primer. So here is the mixture that we need. Make sure you get your paper towels and water ready to clean up your stuff after you're done. And sorry about my camera angle at the moment. My new equipment is coming next month, so bear with me guys. My audio and more importantly my video quality will improve, and as soon as I get my new setup I will record most of my painting for the future tutorials that will be released on YouTube and of course on my Discord channel as well. Feel free to join my Discord channel. It will be linked in the description down below. The camera angle will change somewhere in the middle of the video, so bear with me guys. And here we go, protecting the back a little bit. As said before, make sure you protect your foam and get in there in all the gaps and recesses. Also, you probably noticed that I sometimes speed up things and I even cut out of parts, because otherwise it would have been a 2-hour video, and I think hearing my voice for 1 hour is long enough. First of all, I'm not really used on talking to myself for 1 hour, so this is all quite new to me. I also did a voiceover on this video because while I'm painting, I'm sometimes too focused to talk, so that's why I thought maybe do a voiceover after everything is recorded, so I can show you or talk about whatever is going on. Okay, let's finish these last parts so we can let it dry for at least 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, so we can apply the second layer. It won't be needing that long, but we're just making sure we're not rubbing it out. We just make sure it's dry. The texture I'm gonna use in a few seconds, it's from Vallejo, the Earth Texture, but you can use any texture you want, as long as there's a sandy texture in there, you're fine. Make sure you apply the texture on places where you think the sand will be laying on the ground. For example, close to the rocks and shadowed areas, gaps. That's the stuff where the sand will be laying. Also, these stairs I made, on top of them, I made a few tiles, so you can play with the texture over there. Flat areas, leave them flat, and where you had filled up the gaps with the resin, just apply the texture, because that's the area that will be sandy. All right, now that we have finished the resin part, clean up your stuff, let it all dry, so we can start applying the texture. Also, for all these rough work guys, use bad brushes because you don't want to ruin your good brushes for this. This is the result so far. And this is the texture I'm using. Earth Texture from Vallejo. But like I said, you can use anything. Applying the texture is straightforward actually, and I will also speed up the process. You can clearly see what I'm doing, and you can clearly see that I'm not applying the texture everywhere, just like I mentioned before. So let's start applying the texture. Make sure you go everywhere, and whenever this is all done, make sure you go on all the areas, and you got all the areas from all angles, which is very important because nothing is more annoying to finish up a part or think that you finished up that part and you turn your piece in a different angle than before and you see an area that is unworked on. That's, yeah, that's a downer really. So just make sure you turn it around a few times, watch it a few times, go have a coffee, go get a drink, go smoke a cigarette, whatever, come back, look at it again, and then you know it's a wrap. Okay, once again, we are finishing the last areas with the texture, so we can let that dry for at least an hour and a half, maybe longer, because the texture takes a while to dry, and before you actually prime it, you know. What I did here is I covered it with a piece of paper, and then I spray can it because the front side was already worked on. It wasn't done, but it was already worked on, so I didn't want to spray it over. So I took a piece of paper and I took some masking tape, and then I started priming. Okay, now that this is finished, we can clean up our stuff again and we can just let it dry. And we will come back in a second. Alright, now this is all primed up. The next thing I will show you is a chart of the colors I used for the rocks and the sand. Number one, I used Rhinox Hide to base coat everything. Number two, I used Skavenblight Dinge to dry brush it all. I used Stormvermin Fur, Zandri Dust, Stone Grey, and Japanese Uniform. I used the Rhinox Hide to base coat everything, and I mean everything. So if you want to use an airbrush, by all means go ahead, but I will mostly show you brushwork in all my videos. Keep your paint thin, because if you go on the darker areas, just go over it once, keep it dark, and the areas that are, you know, truly visible, keep them highlighted and give it 2 or 3 layers. So that's really full opacity, which is more important than the darker areas that are shaded. Okay, let's speed this up a little bit and let's finish this up. We are going to grab a dry brush and we're getting Skavenblight Dinge ready. I'm using Artist Opus for this, but any dry brush will do the work. You don't need all these tools to do it. Here it is, all dried up. Now we can start dry brushing the rocks. Also, I took another angle. Maybe this is better to see what I'm doing. So here we go, heavy dry brushing the Skavenblight Dinge, and you can immediately see the stone effect that's appearing. Keep going roughly over all the areas where needed, and that's basically it. No need for holding your brush in a special direction or angle. Just go with the flow. Have fun. There we go. As you can see, the stony effect appears immediately, and you still got the Rhinox Hide being, yeah, sandy effect, but yeah, dark. There we go. All right, now we can continue with the next step, which is a mixture of Rhinox Hide and Zandri Dust. And we're gonna apply this in the areas where the sand is. For example, here on these stairs, I can really light up the areas that are sand now. Also, if you apply it apply it in the shaded areas and along the sides of the rocks, and even in the back on the wall. I will also apply the dirt because it will have a dirty effect on the lower section of the wall and pillar. So here I'm showing you that I'm also applying the sand or dirt effect on the pillar and wall, because that's a bit of, a little bit of reality, as the sand will blow against the lower part of the wall and pillar, and a little less on top, of course. The next part we are doing is we thin down our mixture and we go all over the base. Not every area is flat, especially rocks aren't flat, so apply it everywhere and let it dry. It will give you this dusty look, but it's very natural and it looks real. There we go, all dried up and ready for another dry brush, but with Stormvermin Fur this time, which is a part I accidentally deleted. But nothing new, I think. Just dry brush all the rocks and stones, nothing special. Sorry about that. First tutorial video in a long time, and we're already missing parts. Way to go. Anyway, we are skipping Stormvermin Fur and we go straight to Stone Grey apparently. As you can see, I'm just applying it on the rocks and stones, the ones that need, the brightest highlights. I think we all know how dry brushing works, so I'm just gonna show you a few parts that I'm doing and we go straight to the next part. Also, if you want to keep these buildings or ruins darker, you can always do so. I wanted to give them the same-ish highlights as the rocks and stones. Why? Because I wanted to look like the area it's in, sandy, dusty, so that's why I made it blend in the area. Okay, so we're finishing this up and we will start doing the last part. Here it is so far. There we go. Now we really get that sandy, dusty look, right? Well, I hope I do. The last part. The last part is we gonna use Japanese uniform from Vallejo. You can also use a Baller Brown, is somewhat the same, from Citadel. And we're gonna mix it first in our 50-50 sand mix and apply it on some areas where your sand is applied. Also, you can do this with some thin layers, and you can always add more and more of the yellow into it, into the sand or even into the paint mixture. to get it more brighter, you know. That's totally up to you. I've did it on even on some places on the rocks, very thin, because some of the sand that is blown on the rocks also needs a little bit of the attention. So for the last time, I'm gonna speed up a little bit, but you can still see the process that I'm doing. And we are close on finishing. Well, finishing is a big word, but we are close on ending the first tutorial video for the base. I'm pretty happy with it at the moment. The placement of the hound, the arrow, and the helmet, I'm not sure yet. I'm really struggling with that. But at the moment, because I recorded this video a few days ago, at the moment I've found a sweet spot for the hound, I think. And the arrow, it went through the eye, through its mouth, and on the ground. For the helmet, I think he's on the right position, although it might change in the near future. We will see about that. And here we are, guys. We are at the end of the video. Just adding the last few bits on it. I didn't add the part of the grass. I think we all know how that works. Whatever feels right, just use it, try it. If you don't like it, change it. It's just that simple, really. I hope you somewhat enjoyed the video and learned a few things along the way. This is also very new to me, and I'm really just experimenting and come up with stuff while doing stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe and support the channel. I'll do my best to improve my videos and also my painting, so we are all happy along the way. In the description down below, you will find the list of everything I have used in this video, and also the links to all my social media and website, where I gladly take on commissions. If you would like to have my work at your place, you can. Feel free to comment down below with what you think of it. Any ideas for future tutorials are always welcome. This is where we are at the moment with Cork and the Death Hound. I hope you like it so far. I will see you in the next video, which is